The Long Haul Podcast, America's Irish Voice. Interviews with inspiring immigrants, renowned Irish personalities, and discussions on all things Irish America. Okay, so I'm here with Lorcan Grall after the couple of days after the Junior A football final where Cork were victorious over St. Barnabas. Lorcan, congratulations on the win. You've a couple of days to reflect on it. How do you feel?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's brilliant. It's first win since 1955, I believe, and yeah, it's a great bunch of lads there, and it's really just sank in. I just watched the game over again today, and just it's unreal. It's an unreal feeling. It's great for them. The people like Gary Lowney and Liam Hanley and Tom Courtney, all these lads that have brought this club through for the last numbers of years. You know, it's brilliant to finally win something for them. They've put so much effort into it, and they've brought it to like where it is, and they just gave me a chance this year to try and maybe bring it a little bit further, and they were brilliant. They gave us everything we needed and done everything for us, and just sort of left us at it. To be honest, it was unreal. It was unreal. Yeah.
Tell me about yourself, Lorcan. How long are you? Was this your first year training Cork? And how did you get involved with the club?
Well, I wouldn't say training now. Yeah, I was involved with the club 3 or 4 years ago. I'm lucky enough. I worked with Gary Lowney, and then now I'm working with Liam Hanley, and just sort of got involved. Jeremy McCullough's with the club. He's in the same club as me at home, Ratout, and we just got involved with him. Asked me to come up one day and just tipped away and played there. And then I think it was just last year with COVID and everything, the two lads, Gary and Liam again, were involved, but I think they've their own businesses and companies here, and they've maybe found it hard to balance both family football and the workload with COVID and everything that was going on. So I just got on to Gary last November, and I asked him, I said, look, I was doing jiu-jitsu and a bit of kickboxing with Johnny Glynn at the time. And I said, look, if I could convince Johnny to come in and give us a hand, and maybe we could start try and get a bit of a management team going. Because to be honest with you, I'm no coach, you know. I feel I get on very well with the players. I have a good rapport with them, and they're a great bunch of lads there, and I've known them for the last few years. But I just thought maybe if we got Johnny in that and try and get a good management team around us, that we might do something. So to be honest with you, I know Johnny's head for about 3 months about it, and he dropped me home one day after training. I said, sure, man, you'll come with Cork, will you? And he goes, right, we will. And then I rang Gary Lowney straight away in the car before I got out of it. And then we went over and met Liam and Gary over in Liam's house, and we discussed what we do from there. And then Johnny brought Lawrence Kennedy in as well, which is another great coach. And then we're actually doing a bit of jiu-jitsu with Porrick McGrorty there as well, and the kickboxing. And he's Johnny's boss, so he got involved too. And we've Enda Lowney, which was actually playing with us, but got injured at the start of the year, and we didn't want him to go anywhere, so we got him involved with the management team as well. So I don't think there's anybody like. There was a management set up there, all right. There was no particular manager installed in the thing. I think it was a team effort by the 5 of us, and then when we asked for stuff off, for training gear and stuff from the Cork GA and from Gary and from Liam Hanley, there was no it was just everything was yes, there you go for it. They backed us all the way, you know. So we had the 5 of us then, just that was it really. The 5 of us just went for it, and as I said, we have a great core of boys there from Bantry that came over a few years ago, and some of the older lads like Sean McNamee and Jeremy McCullough, Alan Raff, you have Paul O'Connor there that came back in mid-season when he seen what was going on. And these lads have families. They're living up in Mayo Park and up in Rockland, and all the Bantry boys are down in Brooklyn, and the effort they made to come training. We'd 20 odd at training every night, and we were training at the start of the year with Sligo and Leitrim as well to train. As you probably know, the more numbers you have with training, the better it is to get drills going and organise. And and get everything going. But like from day one, the backing and support we got was unbelievable. Yeah, and it's just great, and it makes days like this even better, you know.
Lorcan, just on that, the training, I noticed that going to Randall's Island this year that the 3 teams were training together. Was that the first year that you all trained together, and how did that come about? Because I know myself, we actually started doing it with Brooklyn, and it seems to be the way forward, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, at the end of last year, we started training a little bit with Sligo, because I played a bit of Sligo B football and got to know a few of the lads. And Ger McCullough and Sean McNamee play with Sligo as well, and they were involved. So it was sort of, we knew a few lads, and the few lads were playing up and down. So it was like, and then this year Sean McNamee was managing Leitrim with Sean, and then Sean Kelly that plays with Leitrim was helping Sean McNamee with Sligo. So, and then it was just sort of, we all just sort of helped each other out, you know. So it started a little bit last year, but this year was sort of the plan, just to get numbers. And what we done was we drafted up and down players. There, like a few Cork lads played for Leitrim, a few Leitrim lads played for Sligo. So it was just, we all just got to know each other really over the year. And actually, like last Christmas, I organised the soccer there. We do Thursday night soccer, so there was a few Leitrim lads playing, a few Sligo lads. So we just decided that, look, it's better with numbers, and that's just the way it went from there, you know. And then when you have the likes of Lawrence Kennedy, and you have Sean McNamee there, and you have Johnny Glynn, who like are unreal trainers, like boys come down, you know, and training's enjoyable. They've no problem coming from all corners of New York to come down and take part in this. So yeah.
When did you start training this year?
We started the week after Paddy's Day. Yeah.
And what were you doing? Were you doing once or twice a week, or how did it work out?
Twice a week, yeah. Twice a week, all fitness for the first while. We had tackle bags down there. We had skipping ropes. We had like obviously all your cones and all your other stuff, but like just a lot of fitness. But one night, and then maybe the other night we do a bit more ball work. But like that was, and then we, as the season went on, we play games against each other. And like Lawrence Kennedy there has a set of goals up in his house for his 2 young lads up there, and he'd bring them down the back of the van some days just so, because you know yourself, there's nowhere with posts, you know, and kicking scores is vital, you know. And it's very hard to be kicking over a soccer post every training session when you don't have the post. So he'd bring the goals down the odd training session. Yeah.
All in Randall's, wasn't it?
All in Randall's, yeah. And then to the end of the season, then we sort of got the park, maybe half of the pitch for 4 or 5 nights there at the end, yeah. So.
Okay, when things were kind of quieting down, was it the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, well, like we had, that's what, 8 months now we've been playing. Like there was a month, 4 or 5 weeks there we had no game. There was some teams hadn't played, so we were stuck with no game. So like it's literally only finished there on Saturday, you know. So it's a long old season.
The goals make a big difference, don't they? I know myself from going, you're training there with soccer goals. Next thing you're going up to Gaelic Park to play a game. You're getting ushered onto the pitch. Most times you don't even get a warm up, and then you could be in the middle of a game before you get your first shot on goal.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's hard. You're just trying to do get fit, and then they're blowing their whistle to get the game started. Yeah. So look,
getting back to the game Saturday, you started slowly, I would say. I didn't really get much into it. I think Barnabas were kind of on top for the most part. You were like 9-6 down, and to be honest, I thought it didn't look like you could pull it out of the bag. And up popped Ger McCullough there. He got a great goal to bring you right back in the game. It made some difference. And towards the end, I think that your experience really shone through there with a couple of the other lads, Dara Walsh and Raftery, a couple of other fellas. How big of an influence were they?
Oh, brilliant. Like Alan Raft there's a class. No veteran. He probably won't let me saying that, but like he was class there. Like Sean McNamee there, centre back, you know. I think there was a great mix of like youth and experience there.
Yeah.
You know, obviously the sending offs had probably a big part to play in it. But like it was just, I think over the last few years, it was the last 15, 20 minutes, we knew we knew we had to play well for the last 15, 20 minutes. Like if we kept it within a score or like 3 or 4 points, I think we were confident in our own ability to go, you know. On the bench, we always talk among ourselves, you know what I mean? There's never really any rash decisions made. We'll have a chat with each other. Like we'll have a difference of opinion, but that's the way it goes. Do you know what I mean? Everybody is entitled to their opinion, but at the end of the day, I think we made the right decisions. You know, like we had like young Sean Tierney there come up this year, and he probably marking one of the best corner forwards in the game. You know, he played well against him. You know, you have then Sean Mackin playing centre back, and he's probably one of the older lads on the team. You know, and I'd say if we lost now, he might have retired. Alan Raff might have retired. Paul O'Connor, you know, you might see all these boys back next year again for one last blast. But look, the end there, I seen Alan Raff kicked one wide, way right and wide, and I was literally on my knees going, here we go again, you know. And if any other game, he would have stuck that over, you know. But like that, we just stuck to what we knew, and we got 6 in a row then with no reply. Like, you know, the backs done Trojan work there to lock down ball. Dara Walsh midfield, like, is an animal. He flew home the next day. He's at home now to play hurling and football championship with his own club, you know. We thought we'd lost him because he was meant to fly back the week before, but he stayed on again. So like he's away home now to play in Clare. 2 games this week I think he's playing, you know. But like the running, the work he does is unbelievable, you know. Tom Joe came on there, was brilliant. Niall Judge usually played corner forward for Sligo or for Cork back then. He was sweeping. Like there was just lads bought into it, you know. They bought into what we wanted from the start of the year, you know, and they listened, and it just came together in the end, you know. It all came together, and every you know, I don't know if you know yourself, like it's hard. The background stuff is hard. You're texting boys, you're trying to get them out training, you're doing this, like even an old thumbs up in the group, boys don't put them up, you're texting going, what are you doing? Why aren't you putting the thumbs up? You're like, you know, there's just, but these lads just, they kept going, you know. They could see it, and it was just, yeah, it was brilliant.
And it was a good Barnabas side. There was a good 7 or 8 of them. I had to check the figures, but a couple of them are just after off the back of winning a senior county. Like, so it was a high standard junior A football championship.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You have the Matters there, and Brosnan. You have the twin brothers there. I think one of them was playing. I can't think of his name now, but like there's some class footballers there, you know, like fit. Like we knew they'd keep going. We knew 60 minutes. Like it's like the water breaks there. I think sometimes they're great or they're bad. They work both ways, you know. But I think they suited us in the final, you know, just to get that few minutes and just to settle ourselves and have a chat and get at it again, you know. Maybe look, they're coming back off a win. They could have been on the beer for 2 weeks or not, but I don't think they were, you know. They're well drilled. Johnny McGeaney and Hogan and them boys have them boys well drilled, you know. They're good lads. They're training all year as well, and they're in college, and you see the size of them. They're animals, you know. But as I said, I think it was just a little bit of experience at the end, you know, and that brought it for us, and yeah, brought it over the line.
Was it a tactic for Niall Judge? He kind of fell back into a free role there, holding a bit, or was it just how the game developed? And
Pa Glynn was the sweeper, and 2 weeks ago he'd strained his hamstring, so we sort of had to start him because we couldn't. Not that we had to start him, but we started him because he's starting all year. But he's played unreal as a sweeping role for us all year. I think he actually played with Kerry last year when they won the junior, and he transferred to us this year. And you know, and it was like we knew we had a bit of a niggle, so it's like we'll start him because we couldn't afford to bring him on and then have to take him off again. And then Judgy had played the role the previous game where he did get injured as well, like, you know. So like Judgy had hurt himself previously in the year. He's playing corner forward, and he didn't feel like he could maybe make the turns as quick and everything, so he was brought out to centre forward, and he just drove on from there, centre forward, and he's he's like a jack in the box. He seemed to be everywhere. Like I watched the ball yesterday. I think every second minute he had the ball in his hand, and he was brilliant. He just done that role for us yesterday, and it worked out brilliantly.
Yeah, when you're under pressure like that, it's always good to have a baller there just to get on the ball, and he's comfortable on the ball. It seemed to work well. He soaked it up, and then the second half he kicked on after Ger's goal.
Yeah, absolutely. And even like Donny and goal there making that run, I think it put a bit of fire under us as well. It's like he wants it. He wants to get up there, and and everybody was there. It just worked out. They dropped they put one wide and one short there near the end, and we kicked ours over, Sean McNeil hate me for saying this now, but when he's kicking over the score to draw a game, there's something going right to it.
Tell me, there's a big Cork contingent there. There's a couple of Bantry boys there. Looking at the team sheet, how many actual Cork fellas?
Cork, you had Donny in goal. You had Donny in goal. You had Stephen Hanley, cornerback. You had Anthony Hanley, John Lavin were on the bench. They were Cork as well. You had Tom Joe, come on. You had Dara Welly. They're all Cork. Yeah, there was Owen Dwyer. There's Cork as well. Yeah. Pa Sheen, if you want. I heard he was born in Cork and he's lived there for 3 months, but I suppose he's a Kerry man, so I don't. Yeah, that's up for debate. But yeah, there's 6 or 7 boys there, and then you have Andrew Burke from Galway. You've a good mixture of boys there. Yeah, but 7 or 8 of them from Bantry and around the Cork area. Yeah.
And tell me about the club itself, Lorcan. I could hear there was a good following there in the crowd. You could hear there's a good Cork contingent, and you could see it meant a lot to people on the line. It meant a lot of you after the final whistle. It really meant a lot to you. It was almost more like more than a junior county final with some of the celebrations there. In fairness, it was great to see.
Look, I'm only here 5 years, and I think since Liam and Gary been here, they've lost 5 or 6 finals, between senior and junior. And you see a man like Tom Courtney up there, he's a diehard Cork man. He's at every game. Even last year, he was on the line with us last year. Just a gentleman, and and then I think a lot of other people there mightn't even been from Cork, but were just wanted Cork to win something and go there and just do it, but there was a great crowd at it, and just at the end, as I said, the effort boys put in, not just this year but last year, that brought getting all these players over, especially when there's no drafts, or you can't really, the only lads that come over this year were lads that had passports,
Yeah, and
it's hard, yourselves as an Irish club, not too many American lads on it. It's very hard to keep lads interested and keep them going and doing everything. But look, yeah, there was great support there on Saturday, and you even see the kids, they're all the gear on them. They love coming down to Gaelic Park. That's what it's all about, seeing the older generation, the young kids, and everybody enjoying it and celebrating it, But that win there was for obviously the players and our management team, an awful lot of effort, but sure, all the other people that have put in the effort over the years too. It's a collective win for everybody, if you want. It's brilliant. It's unreal.
Very good. So are you going to stick together next year, that management team, and it's going to be intermediate this year, or next year? It's the big push to get onto senior, or what's the goal?
Yeah, I think we'll definitely have to sit down and discuss it. There's I think we said if we lost, we weren't too sure, and if we won, we'd sit down and talk about it. Everybody is. Me and my wife just had a new baby there 2 weeks ago, and
congrats.
Stuff and Johnny's getting married this year. Lawrence is involved with other teams, and look, we'll have to sit down with the hierarchy and see what they think. If they're happy enough, their first win in over 60 years, I think, and they might have to stick with us, if we're allowed. But yeah, I'd love to go on. Look, I learned a lot this year. That's the first real team I was involved with managing, and I wouldn't consider myself a manager by any stretch of the imagination. But you get on with these boys and you surround yourself with the right people around you, and a good management team will bring you a long way, and that's what they've done this year. It's credit to Porrick and like two lads in the background there that are quieter than probably myself and Lawrence and Johnny, but like they're lads that they go over and they chat to lads, and you don't even like it's amazing what these lads can do, and then Lawrence there and Johnny in the changing room, like you just listen to them, like Johnny's a big man, Lawrence is a great heart, that man like lost his brother this year, he had a tough year, and I think we helped, we all stuck it in together. There was more like there was just a drive there this year that brought it all together, it was just brilliant. It's unreal, yourself, you win somewhere, just keep watching over the video on YouTube, like you guys done an unreal job there commentating, and the quality of the game was class, but as I said, when you win, it's a lot easier to watch back these things when you win,
Yeah. Sorry, we didn't get all the names right. Sometimes you can see when it zooms in on camera the number, but we don't have that when we're up in the stand. So
yeah. Look, I think we'll forgive you for that.
But of course, and Liam, of course, is involved with the Cork club, isn't he? Liam Birmingham, who was alongside me.
Yeah. I think he's secretary or yeah. I know Liam Birmingham has a lot to do with them, over the years as well. Yeah, and like Pat Scan helped out there years ago as well as managed him, even though he's a Clare man, I think, and so yeah, he was actually commentating with you. I only copped that today, to be honest with you, even though I've watched the video 3 or 4 times.
He was very good. I was very impressed with him. He was natural.
Yeah.
But Lorcan, thanks very much for coming on. I appreciate it. It's great to see, the hard work paying off. It was great scenes there Saturday night, and might be up against you next year with Kerry.
Yeah. You might be playing intermediate next year with Cork yourself. Cork. Yeah. Good man.
Oh, bother, Lorcan. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on. Thanks a million.
Thank you. Have a good one.
For the latest New York GAA match reports and other Irish American sports news, check out thelonghallpodcast.com or follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter @The Long Haul Podcast.